Ooh, faded from black and got the screen. Ooh, learning stuff. So I'm going to talk about the TSA. Got into looking into thumbnails and it was like, oh, I need to structure this better, and it led to something else. So I'm Jeremy, and welcome. We're going to talk about TSA and clown world policies and clown world procedures and clown world people, because I swear to God, we live in a world of clowns. So I have links in the description below. I have a couple of parodies from Reason TV with this guy, Remy, and he sings, and it's funny, and it's hilarious, also with what he's got in the background and what he does. And also links in the description with Reason TV and their budget, and with, or not Reason TV, but John Stossel and the Today Show, with kind of what's going on today with COVID now being a thing, and just them doing more ridiculous stuff. So with 2020 last year, the TSA had a budget of roughly $7,680,000,000. Their failure rate is like 95%. And the largest part goes to operations and support. That's where the administration is going to be, I believe. Doesn't matter. It's the administration, the regional directors, and everybody who's supervising, they're getting paid mad money. And then there's a bunch of low, stupid, bullshit BS jobs where people don't know their left from their right. Part of the TSA budget comes from a $5.60 per passenger fee, also known as the September 11 security fee. I don't need the little puff piece words there, the what do you call that, buzzwords? Get that crap out of there. It should be exactly what it's supposed to be. Screw you over security fee. That's what it is. And then it's even more for a round rate trip. It's not quite double, but it's pretty close. This passenger fee totals $2.4 billion, or roughly 32% of the budget allocated by Congress that year. 32%. You know what 35% of it is? It's $2,697,000,000, and it's not specified where that money goes. What are we doing? Some kind of black covert operations going on here? Well, why is it not specified? What's all this money going to? Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit. One of them is that they have these little air puffers. John Stossel talks about it in his little episode. $150,000 each, and they didn't work. And then they spent another $600 for the DOD to dispose of. Why the DOD? Why not just some trash compactor? Why? You couldn't think of anything else to do. Why did they have to explode them? What? To the DOD. So it was the government paying the government for something that they failed at. It was the government that gave government work. Clown world. Clown world. Clown world. So the government, they don't care about what's right or wrong. They do what's easy. And there's a difference between doing what's easy and versus what's right. So whenever they put this to the Senate for a vote, it was 100 in favor and 0 against. So are you trying to imply that this is perfect? That there was nothing to object on? That nobody found anything compelling to object on at all? It's like, that's a lie. There's no such thing as perfect. And they have a 98% failure rate. Why didn't anyone, not one of these clowns, not one of these stupid, not even one. It's like, where's the facts and evidence that any of this stuff would work? Why do you think low-skilled workers are in any kind of position to be able to do anything like this? Because it's not skilled workers, because they're going to take jobs where they're going to be happier, where they're going to be more rewarding, they're going to have higher pay, they're going to have more benefits. It's not going to be this. So I do want to point out too that I'm not here to do what's right or wrong with any of this stuff. I'm here to point out the hypocrisy everywhere that I see it. And so there is like some woman in the video, and she's yelling about how TSA is overreaching and overgrabbing, and it's the government holding power. It's like, I don't give a damn. If you don't have something to say, if you don't have some kind of evidence, don't yell at me. I don't give a damn what it is. You can take your emotions, you can shove them right up here. So before we get any further, hit the like, subscribe button. I have Patreon and Subscribe Star. I'm going to make a website. And I think actually I was looking into this a little bit because I got sidetracked again because I was looking at thumbnails and looked at websites and how much they cost. And some of those are actually pretty cheap. And I might just start off having a website where I have this information. So maybe you need to know it immediately for something, especially for like students, that you could go to it and you could directly look at links and have all this stuff and kind of skip all this with the videos. And this also would be like for product reviews and a whole array of assortment of other things. So, but we'll get into it as I look into it more. And also at the end, I have another little announcement that I'm going to have there for the end. And there was a protest sign that searches are sexual assault. It's like, no, it's not. It absolutely is not. It's like, what do you think they're supposed to do? What's the other alternative for these people to be able to search? It's just woke left nonsense. It's like, are they doing something more? It's like, are they taking you to the back room, stripping you down and doing other things? It's like, yes, that is, but no, they are two different things. They're two different words for a damn reason. And, you know, they had this thing for a while, and it's still in effect, I believe, where profiling was racial discrimination. It's like, well, you're just profiling these groups. And it's like, yes, because if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, chances are it's a damn duck. You know what? If you don't want to be labeled and if you don't want to be profiled as a thug, then perhaps you shouldn't dress like one, talk like one, and act like one. It's like, it's nobody's fault but your own. If you want to live that lifestyle, fine, go ahead and knock yourself out. But don't come crying to me like a damn little child because you're being treated like one. You got exactly what you asked for. You don't want to be treated that way? Then do something different. It's not my fault. It's not my problem. You got what you wanted. It's the thug life or whatever. It's like, fine, go ahead, knock yourself out. Shut up. And so also, I tried to look up how many terrorists have been stopped. It's like none. They talked about how they confiscated some guns, but it's like, you know how many millions of guns are out there? And how many of it was just people who were just, maybe they forgot or they just didn't care. Whenever the undercover agents go through, 95% failure rate. Oh, and then John's also, man, gonna drill him on this one too. He was like, well, with private security, so in San Francisco, he said, they do twice as good. Oh, so they have, instead of a 5% success rate, they have a 10%? Let's like, get a 10 on a test, get a 10 on everything. It's still horribly, grotesquely underachieving. It's failure. It's absolute, utter failure. It's like, no. It's like, no, it's word salad nonsense, clown bull. Watch it. So, oh, and then they talked about how it was the passengers and crew who were the ones who did more than anybody else. So then, why don't we work off of the evidence that we already know? So if it's passengers and crew who are doing the most good out of this than anything else, then let's give them even more. So for example, because I'm not just going to spout here and just yell for nothing, I have evidence. So if the evidence shows passengers and crew, then there should be something like a little red button that they could all push. And so it would only be for adults and not for children. And if the seat is vacant, not for that one. So then that way you couldn't just walk on by and be like, I'm going to screw with it. No, nothing like that. And that it would have to be something like a percentage. A percentage of the passengers would have to push the button to activate it in order for it to go into automatic pilot and to go land. So like 50% or something like that. And so since it's also the seat that's assigned is the only seat that would be activated and by the adults, then you would know exactly who's doing it and when and where. And so if it was just one, then a stewardess could come up and be like, did you push that button? You know, because I don't know what's going on. Oh man, I'm sorry, you know, but you could put like a cover over it. So you'd have to slide the cover out of the way, and then you could push the button, you know, something along those lines. It wouldn't be easily accessible. You know, you would have to do one thing before that happened. And then another thing is, you know, why wouldn't you have the pilots also where they could have an emergency button that they could push, and it would just be just one of them, because you know that would really put their career in jeopardy if they push that button and there was nothing. And then you could also have a sally port system where you have two doors on each side. So you've got the pilots here, and then you have where they have like the little kitchen area and they're prepping and they're handing out blankets and towels and whatever, you know, and then another door, and then you have the passengers. And so the only way you can get to the pilots is that this door has to be closed, and you could have a camera looking down. And so that way the pilots can see exactly who's in there. And if the camera's not working, then they go land. And you could also have more security if you wanted to. You could have like identification badges that have to get scanned, or fingerprints or handprints or something like that. You could have voice recognition. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Why does it need to be in the airport? You could have it right there on the plane, and then that way the lines will go faster. Because you know that they were talking about how much faster the lines were with the private security at San Francisco. You know what's even faster is none of it. Get people out of it. And so you can have these systems in there. And so the sally port system is that only one door is open at a time, not both at the same time. You can have the camera feed looking down on it, and you only have, you know, just certain members of the crew who are authorized to be in here, and absolutely nobody else, and maybe not even all of the crew. You know, whatever you need it to be. And then whenever you do go into automatic pilot mode, you know, we have video games where they have aerial dog fights and space fights and underwater submarine fights. I mean, they've got it all. So why can't we have an automatic pilot system take over and with GPS satellites track that stuff and have it land? I have plenty of family members who are farmers, and the really expensive tractors and combines have GPS tracking satellite system and engagement, and you can track all this stuff from at home, and they can plow and farm automatically. And you know why? Because it's farms. It's because it's farms, and farmland is just out there in the middle of nowhere. It's a bunch of dirt roads, and tractors and combines, they're not speed racers. They move as slow as dirt. Makes me think of, I've seen like comedy movies and cartoons and stuff, and there's like a little steamroller and they're going to get crushed, and they're like, don't run me over, and 20 minutes later they get run over. I forgot what it was, like maybe that Borzak movie or something, or The End of the World, or one of those movies. And so why can't we have the same thing for the planes? Where instead of where we could have those satellites up there also tracking the planes and helping do all this stuff, why not have the satellites also down on ground? Because if they work that good all the way up there in space, why not have them up in radio towers too, or some kind of towers, so they could really be really close and have extremely accurate, precise information to be able to help with the landing? Or if you wanted to, why couldn't at the control tower that they could have like a pilot on standby, and he's just there in his chair, and if something happens, you know, he could take a remote control over the ship, over the plane, and land it, just like we do with drones. Have you seen those drones that the military use? Those things are freaking huge. You can almost put a person in one of those things. So why can't we do something like that? And so then that way you don't need all these people. You know, because what's a plane? It's a flying bus. That's what it is. You know, are you going to be able to stop all the hijackings and crazy stuff that goes on with a bus? No. What about with a plane? Same thing. And I understand the difference. You know, you're flying and it can crash into stuff, but you can take a bus and you can crash it into plenty of stuff too. You can do plenty of damage. You can kill just as many people. In fact, you could arguably maybe even kill more, because you could just start running over people and you could keep going and go and go and go and go and go. So it's like, and then especially if you hijacked one where you took one at the end of a shift and then filled it up with explosives or some kind, or gas or whatever, and then you could bring a building down from its base. So no, there's no such thing as perfect. Absolutely not. And there's definitely, we could integrate technology and systems in play that are mechanical, such as the sally port system, where we would be guaranteed a lot more success. And this blanketed thing, we're just going to do all this crap that there's no evidence. It's like the passengers and the crew have already proven to be the best source of being able to handle this. So why haven't we done anything more to help them out? It's a clown world, and I'm tired of the lies. And all this money is just going to politicians for nothing, and it's just to make them, because politicians are not scientists, they don't care about what's right or wrong, they care about getting the votes. So it doesn't matter if it's nonsensical or not, they're going to go with whatever the masses want. And then they go on a little bit more and they talk about how, well, they do more training with private security, and they try to train for attentiveness and memory and all this stuff, and it's like, that's a load of crap too. So an example of this is that there's this experiment where you can watch this video of a basketball game, and you're supposed to count how many times that the basketball has been passed around with all of the players. And then in the middle of this, a guy comes out in this huge gorilla suit, and he just waving his arms around and goes right through the middle of all this stuff, and he's there. He's not hiding or anything. He's there. And roughly about half the people who watch that completely miss him. And there's not really much that you can do about it. So, you know, why we're relying on people so much whenever we have all of these other things, especially related to technology, why aren't we implementing those? Lies and nonsense. Clown world. And then still, you know, one of the things that John Stossel's trying to show is that at least the free market does it better. They do perform a little bit better. The lines are faster. They do discover more, and they cost much less. And it gives the airport control over them whenever it's private security. So then that way they can hound on them and say, like, we demand better performance. And it's like, that's exactly what happens. And this happens all the time with everyone. So another example of this is with the mail, is that I saw this. I think it was The Right to Choose with Milton Friedman, and he went to DC and found that there was a private company that was trying to deliver the mail, but the government, some bureaucrats, decided that that was illegal, even though that the private company was able to do it faster and more secure, and everything else was better. It was even cheaper and everything. And they said, no, you can't do this. Made no sense. And then all these other airports, they're like, yes, there were a lot of other airports that they had filed for requests to be able to go in and do private security. It's like, it's private security. They get to put it where they want, when they need it the most. And that would cut down on costs. That would make things go faster and more effective. And it's like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Other than if you decide to look at it as kind of corruption and filling your pockets. And then I have this other clip of USA Today, or Today. I don't know if they've changed their name or not. I never watched the damn thing. But get this. Get ready for just a check right there in between the legs. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, it's gonna hurt bad. This number that I gave with the budget, with that, what, billions of dollars, what was it, 6 billion? No, 7.6 billion. This show on Today, they said that because of COVID, that air flights went down 2.5 million. That per day. That's important. That's very important, per day, because times that out for the whole year, and that they were now at roughly 87,000 per day, and that was a good day. 87,000 per day. So why are all of these people there whenever the damn place is empty? It's clown world. Hey, bring out Bozo and what was that other clown with Bozo? Have him juggle around, squeak the little horn or something, because I swear this is a 3-ring circus. But don't worry, nobody's there. But we have plexiglass to save you from something that can't be saved. Because just like it's not going to stop smoke if people were smoking right there, it's not going to stop COVID either. But doesn't it look like it's good? It's that false illusion of safety. And then they put stickers on the floor because you're too stupid to be able to view out 6 feet on your own, you idiot. Because apparently, somehow, whenever you're breathing and all of this is up in the air, that somehow COVID just goes out 6 feet and then just drops straight down. So you're good, 6 feet or more. That's going to take care of it. You're fine, bud, idiot. Now they did have kiosks. I did like that, where you get to go up and you kind of get to do all this yourself. You get to show your ticket and your ID, but that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's like that's something that the airports would have done themselves, just like at Walmart, where they have kiosks where you can self-service yourself and checking all your food. It's just nothing. So I'm curious, is this now money going from the government to the airports and it doesn't matter? It's not based on performance? Yeah, perhaps, maybe. And then they did brag on how they have new x-ray machines, so you can be viewed quicker and also kill off your cells even faster than before, because these are new and improved, guaranteed to kill you in half the time. And then also that they boasted how they had CT scans for your baggage, so it was less hands-on stuff, so in that way we can bombard your private belongings with more radiation than before. So have fun putting on your underwear. You didn't want to have children now, did you? Who knows what the hell these damn things do? Why are they so much better? Are they shooting out more x-rays and radiation, and so that's why they're more effective? What are the downsides to it? Because don't tell me that it's perfect, because there's no such thing. So also, I've got on Reason TV, there's this comedian guy, Remy, and he likes to sing songs on this, and he does a pretty good job. And he's got two of them. And Whoops, one of them is called Oops, I Did It Again, which is a knockoff of Britney Spears' song from back in the day. And it's hilarious. He shows in the background these news segments and these people, and how TSA failed 95% of airport security tests. And it shows him dressed up as an officer, and he's like, "Oh, I did it again. I've saved you all because I found toenail clippers and toothpaste," and it's hilarious. And then how they pat down more children than the Duggar family. And the Duggar family got into a big old thing with them. And I haven't heard anything in them for a while, but I think it was not so much the parents but the kids. But maybe it was. I don't think so. I think it was the kids who were having issues with stuff. So. And it's hilarious. At the end, he's acting as both sides, as some congressperson and the TSA agent. It's like, you're incompetent. What do you have to say for yourself? Well, I identify as competence. Oh, man, I started cracking up. It's like, that's hilarious. And then with the other one, let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, it was being touched up and felt up. It's from that song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And it's just him just getting kind of all down. It's like, ugh. And again, in the background, it has like things that were going on with the news, and it has a few people speaking. I would say the other one with Britney Spears, it was funnier to me, but I don't know about your comical tastes. So if you've liked all this, hit subscribe and join up, and I've got Patreon and Subscribe Star. But before, at the very end here, I have a little announcement, and that is I'm going to do a little clown 3-ring circus over commercials, because it's all over the place. It's so much clown world. So many people just get to lie, and it's like, for example, there's one of them where it's got this guy, and he's got this solar powered thing for your phone, and it's like really durable and rugged, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just chilling here by this river by my house," and it's like, what are you talking about? I don't give a damn about the river. You know, if you've got some kind of product, then why don't you just talk and focus about that? Why don't you say this? So I'm just going to rip into them all. Man, I've seen commercials where they're really good. You know, it's like 5 seconds. It's like they really get down to it. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm not interested. I'm not looking for anything like that. But you know what? At least I'm not pissed. And then I've seen other things where they've thrown entire hour-long segments of like a TV show, because I think it was like some YouTube show, and they threw it in the commercial spot. It's like, dude, back in the day, a commercial, the average commercial was a minute, and it was kind of really irritating to have to go through all those. And I really liked YouTube, because for a while it was like they were 5 to 15 seconds long, and fortunately I've only had a handful of those that it's been like, well, here's an entire episode of some TV show that you didn't ask for being shoved right up here. Yeah, not a fan of all the lies and all that stuff. So subscribe, thumbs up. I'm going to be creating a website too. And I was looking at how much websites cost. They actually don't cost that much. So I'm going to look into being able to at least putting all this information together. So especially if you're some kind of a student, or if you just want to rub it in somebody's face, it's like, here it is right here. I'm tired of your nonsense. I'm not having this conversation again. And yeah, so it's going to be pretty good. So that's everything for right now. Thanks a lot for joining. We will catch you later, and bye.